Jerry Mason, Kickin Lawyer. We're here for another Law Talk. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the content. We're on all social media platforms, podcast platforms, and YouTube. Check us out over at YouTube. And the TikTok, you can watch Josh do all of the naked OnlyFans dances. It's exciting. OnlyFans dance. And then if you haven't, make sure you check out Michelle Allen. She's your go-to in the area if you're going to buy, sell, rent, lease real estate. For business, for residential, for just fun. She's also a good community leader, great friend of the show, so make sure you check Michelle out. If you want to learn to jump, kick, punch, develop some confidence, visit masonsmartialarts.com. We have 2 locations, one in Covington and one in Millington, Tennessee. Been open since 1993, training world champions. And then Jam Books and Records is located on the square in Covington. It's got books, records, signed memorabilia, and comic books. Be glad to have you come check out what we got Monday through Saturday. Great Christmas options. And if you want to maximize your health, my wife and Dr. Laura Huffman would be glad to help you out with holistichealthhormones.com. You can book online. It's a Saturday clinic. They'd be glad to see you. And if you need any help with marketing, website design, commercials, etc., visit masonitemarketing.com. Joining me today is somebody I do consider a personal friend. When I think of my friend circle, Steve is in it, but he's also super talented. He's been in plays. He's in a bunch of different bands, very talented musician, and just a good dude, Mr. Steve Rhodehamel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So
straight out the ER.
yeah, well, that's what we were just talking about. Good. Yeah. What I will share this, though, because I think people need to know. Well, I grew up in Tipton County. And you didn't, right? You're a transplant?
San Diego, yep.
That's right, San Diego. We talked about that.
From California.
Yeah. How long have you been in here?
2010.
Okay. So, and then you had sort of also heard some of the history where people kind of dog on the hospital for some reason.
Yeah, all the time.
So when I was a kid, I'm talking about 80s.
Yeah.
I think it probably was justified dogging. Well, since then, though, especially the last like 20 years, 15, 20 years, that hospital has made substantial increases in the quality of care, to the point that what frustrates me when I hear people still kind of say that bad reputation is they haven't actually looked at the current metrics, or they haven't actually visited the hospital. And it's literally like one of the top 50 hospitals in the nation. And I'm talking about compared to giant hospitals, and people just don't understand. And you said you had a good experience.
I've had 2 good experiences. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And every time I've been, it's a great experience. Of course, people will say because of my wife, but I think it's just they do a good job.
I don't know anybody there, so Hannah's mom across the street, but yeah, I had good experience.
Good. So what I was going to say to you is this. So Steve and I both sort of have an interest in fancy whiskeys. And I was telling Josh before you got in here, I sort of have some new philosophies on life because I've had 9 months to try to prepare to be a granddaddy, right? Mm-hmm. And now that I'm a granddaddy, one of the things that I was trying to stop doing was just stop like hoarding material stuff, because it really don't make a damn. You know? So I have this huge bourbon collection that's just sitting there, and like it's even dusty. This was dusty and I had to clean it off. It's just been sitting there. So this is George Dickel Bottled and Bond. I'm not sure you can even buy it anymore, but it's from my personal collection. We started it at Rocky, and now we're going to try it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, but
congratulations.
Thank you.
To that.
Yeah. So what you been up to? I know you got Salute. Mm-hmm. You're in what? 3 bands?
Ooh, yeah, 3 bands.
That's good, isn't it?
That is good. Yeah. I don't have the palate that you guys have, but it's still good.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, you're a professional. You're like me. You're a professional drinker. So
getting rid of stuff
go through real quick before folks don't watch us or do watch us. Explain the band you're in and what upcoming performances you got.
Yeah, so first one I've been in for the longest time is a band, Thump Daddy. So Thump Daddy, find us on Thump Daddy Memphis on the interwebs, as they say. That one's like a dance party band, probably the most popular out of the ones. And then have a yacht rock band called Rock the Boat, and that one's addressed 70s and really cool old school, yacht. If people don't know what yacht rock is, it's late 70s to early 80s. They say the weathermen forecast for low in the high 70s, highs in the low 80s, 100% chance of smooth. So anyway, yeah, that one's super fun. I've done that for a few years. And then the newest one is the Peter Blunt System. And that one it kind of just started from, with friends, Brian Huffman and just hanging out in the back here, really, in the law office and just kind of jamming. And then we're like, you know what? music needs to be fun, and I do have fun in the other bands too. They're ran like a business. They're very well-oiled machines. It's no rehearsal. It's literally textbook boom boom boom. But this one is a little bit more organic. You know, I get to play drums versus the other two bands I sing doing that. So in this one, I get to play drums and sing and kind of hang out with some more friends. So yeah, and this one's I don't even know what genre it is. Funk, groove, rock. It's kind of whatever we want to do.
Yeah,
It's one of those deals. People have fun. Yeah.
Well, I've seen them all, and they're all great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely great, definitely fun and exciting groups, all of them. I've probably seen Thump Daddy the most. And then we always go, I've been 3 or 4 years to the New Year's Eve thing you do, which I understand this year is going to be at a casino.
Yeah.
Because we're already talking about trying to go to that.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
Okay. Yeah. So normally we throw a party, and it's kind of we decided on a location a long time ago because there was stuff downtown, midtown. There was really nothing in a central location. So we started renting these. It was basically a party wedding venue. And it just grew bigger and bigger. At first, we're like, "Oh my gosh, are people going to pay $25 a ticket or $50 a ticket?"
Yeah.
And it's grown to a lot more than that, but it's well worth it for especially for a New Year's party. It's a lot of work though, and Shara does just an enormous amount of work for us to put all that on ourselves. So this year, Gold Strike Casino gave us an offer we kind of couldn't refuse. It's a plug and play deal. I mean, everything from having a $9,000 drum kit already set up for us. Everything's we just bring our instruments and mics and sing. So we'll be doing that this New Year's, and it'll literally show up, play, and bring it in. The one piece that we don't like about it is we started this New Year's party because we wanted to bring it in with our friends, people that wanted to be there. And that's kind of how the whole idea started. So we were a little bit apprehensive of just being a for hire band like this, but it sounds like a lot of our friends are going to be there, so we should.
We were planning on going.
Yeah.
Brian already talked about it.
That's cool.
But is it ticketed, or is it going to be in like one of those open bays where they have
ticketed.
a stage? It is ticketed.
Yeah, it will be ticketed, and it's supposed to be a big deal. They're supposed to have 3 rooms. There's a ballroom which we'll be playing in, kind of fancy deal, and dinner and all that, and then there's an 80s room being DJ'd next door, and then they have another room, I don't know what that one is, and all the picture stuff, and I'm sure they have hotel packages and all that. So really, if you want to go, now's the time
Probably
to be looking into book a room.
Okay.
Because they haven't really started pushing it yet.
Yeah.
We've been telling a lot of people, but it'll definitely sell out. Yep.
Huh. Okay, Gold Strike. Is that the one that's beside the other one?
Yep.
There's 2 of them together?
It's Horseshoe and Gold Strike. Those
Yeah.
are, I guess, what people say the 2.
Well, we went.
Better
So
one.
I was just there like a month or 2 ago. My son got invited to the Justin Moore concert. I didn't even know who the guy was. I hate to say that, but his Justin Moore's keyboardist went to college with Austin, their buddies, and so he got us back on the bus and backstage and the whole deal.
Yeah. Oh,
but
sweet.
it was very nice. The setup
Yeah.
was great.
Yep.
I, matter of fact, had a good run on the roulette table that night. So
The only thing about that, it's smoky in there, like smoking, but where we're playing isn't there. But they do a good job of aerating. They do a good job of filtering the air, so to speak, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's not crazy.
yeah. When is in Peter Blunt? November 22nd,
22nd. Yep.
I think it's the 22nd.
Yep.
We'll
At the
double check.
Ruffin. Yep. That's right. So.
So if you guys are local and want to check them out,
Yes. Yeah. Here in T County, right here at the Ruffin.
yeah, November 22nd.
And the Ruffin, if anybody who hasn't been to the Ruffin lately, I'd say in the past, over the past year, it's done just a crazy overhaul. The level of talent is there, just the care, the old free spirit is back.
Yeah, it's exciting and fun.
It's exciting.
We just finished
Yeah.
the Rocky run this past 2 weeks, which Steve was in, by the way. Steve played Riff Raff. Was it 1 year or 2 years?
2 years.
2
yeah,
years.
Yep.
And although the cast was great, I did miss you. It was,
Yeah, I missed y'all too. I kept meaning to come by, and it's just
it's all good.
Yeah,
we have the cast has a lot of fun on stage, but we have a lot of fun when we're not on stage too.
Yeah.
It's a fun
that is
play
one
to
of
do.
the most fun casts
Yeah.
that
Well,
I've been a part of.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, this year so Madeline was the director again, and her idea was like a burlesque theme.
Yeah.
And the setup, like the direct decorations or whatever, the set was pretty simple. And at first I was like, I don't know, but it highlighted the characters. So it was good. And then one night, so you remember I won't mention her name, but we had the one night last year where the one person needed some assistance. Needed some assistance during the play, right? So there's a new person that took the card on that, and that is Jeremy.
Cheers to you, by the way.
Yeah, Jeremy Armstrong. He was in his wheelchair because he's Dr. Scott, right?
Yeah.
And he got this year where he started trying to do this wheelie thing, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in the play, and we're supposed to be frozen. It's the part where the four or whatever principals are frozen. Anyway, so Jeremy's doing this thing, and he turns upside down. He flips. So he rolls over in the wheelchair, and he's supposed to be, can't walk. Well, we're supposed to be frozen.
Yeah.
So me and one of the other guys in the cast we're like, okay, well, we got to play this off. So we act like he meant to do it and go to help him, and then he's awkwardly rolling around on the floor, trying to get up, and then ends up getting up and then sitting back in his chair.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's got to be.
It was just a train wreck, but everybody laughed. Yeah, right. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
but I told him that he took her spot now, so that's good.
That's hilarious. That was funny. Yeah.
Was that your first play? Or have you been in other plays? So, oh wait, you did Spamalot.
Spamalot was my first play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
high school.
One of my favorite parts of Spamalot, you said you came up with, and it was when y'all did the fashion show.
Yeah,
I think that was hilarious.
It was one of the best things. Yeah, and I was like, all right, coming to the stage, And we did. It wasn't, I guess, quite as stripper-ish, but it was. It was cool. Yeah, and it was made little puns on all the characters and yeah, I thought I enjoyed that too. I was like, it was cool. Right?
I thought it was hilarious. And then
somebody did.
This year, did you see it this year, Rocky?
I didn't get to see it. I was on my way.
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about that. Yeah. But so I get introduced, right? Rocky gets introduced, and then I do the runaround thing, and then we added something. This time, when I get to doing the posing, it pauses. Everything freezes.
Yeah.
And one of the Phantoms brings out a chair. And they pull somebody out of the audience, and then there was my pony playing and a deal where I interact with the person. And it all was good. It was all fun and games until the second night I did. Everybody and the dog, after what happened the first night, the people that came back or knew that it was coming were trying to volunteer their people, right? Wanting to see them up there. And we ended up, I was telling Josh, the second night, we had a guy. I ended up doing two. I had they did two chairs because we were trying to maximize this scene. Well, the one guy was great, and he was a gay guy, and he was a great sport. He did great, but the other guy was not gay.
Yeah,
and it almost ended up in a fight. I thought he was gonna bow up on me. I had to grab his wrists, and it was I had to control his resistance. Anyway, and then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to put just anybody in there. We got to put, specific people in there or else it's dangerous.
Yeah. Know what you're getting into.
Yeah. But anyway, it was definitely, everybody seemed to really enjoy that part. And then the other part that was unique from when you were there is they did this screen thing this time on the scenes right after the beginning of the second act. Where Brian's with Janet or with Brad.
Oh, yeah.
And there was an apparatus that he and Brad had that made it just hilarious, shadowed behind the screen.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, it was really funny.
I saw the lips, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool, or the mouth, right? I saw a picture of that, and I was like, oh, that looks really good, how it was done on the beginning, too.
But going back to what you were saying, the Ruffins... even the audio and video was better, I think, this time than previously.
Yep. It's only going to get better, too.
And one of the problems they had been having was it's just everything was so old. And even with the efforts they're doing, that place needs a big corporation to come in and fund just upgrade. Upgrade the whole thing. But they're doing a great, man. The current board's doing a great job.
They are.
Yeah.
Because I'll deal with, Yarborough Music and some of these others. And, they're telling me about these huge systems they're putting in and getting grants. And I know we've been working hard, on that kind of stuff. And these just big systems they're putting in, like TRA and some other schools and other venues and stuff. So we're getting there. It's 10 times better. There was nothing more frustrating than, a couple of years ago. You'd see these awesome actors, and they put in so much time. And then halfway, during their show, it's like you spend half the time cringing at the sound. So we don't have that anymore, and you can hear somebody's voice, and you can hear that, and it's bringing more talent in. Even Into the Woods, so Andrew, who is the sound guy for the Mumford Marching Band, he got in. Him and his wife got involved, and he started helping out with sound, and he knows a lot about that. And he caught the acting bug while he was there, and now he's done a couple, and now he's gonna be the music director for coming up for Into the Woods. And I just saw his audition packet, and it's phenomenal. It's like top notch. Like, hey, what to expect? These are what to expect for all this stuff. So, yeah, it's just definitely moving in the right direction. It's a lot of fun, and it's important in the community. I think it's helped.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I've said this before, but like, and I'm not on the board or any affiliation with them anymore, other than I just want them to succeed. But people don't have to be the actors. They need people backstage. They need people with sound. They need people to help with the concession stand and the ticketing. They need people to help clean. All these things that people can assist the community in that way.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and are interested, come check out the Ruffin Theater. I think it's a cool little diamond in the rough here in our community.
Diamond in the Ruffin.
Yeah.
And it is, because we talked about making a musical, but years ago called It's Rough at the Ruffin. And it was. But, the hearts are there, and it's just a great place, just to end on that piece that, you belong there. You fit in. It's a good place. It was great for my kid. It was great for me. You just see a lot of people, they get an aha moment that they belong. So, try theater if you haven't.
Yeah, it's fun. I never thought that I would have liked it. The only prior to Rocky, the only theater that I had ever done was in 8th grade. I was Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, our school production. And it was only because Aaron, Brian's brother, was the ghost of Christmas yet to come, because he wanted to dress up as like the Grim Reaper.
Right.
And so I went ahead and tried out for Ebenezer. And anyway, that's literally it. And then fast forward, I would have never done it if Brian hadn't guilted me into it. And then here we are 5 years later, and 6 years later, and I still enjoy it.
Yeah, you're made for the stage.
Well, sure. I don't know about for the whole stage, but at least that role, I guess, I can 100%. Do. So speaking of that, with your talent, with your musical talent and everything, because you and I have never talked about this, when did you start getting into music? Was it back as a kid in San Diego, or when did you get the bug, or at least know you had talent for it?
Yeah, so I always knew I could sing. So my dad used to go around with a Walkman, the old school Walkman, and he'd be singing. He took a lot. I take a lot of baths too. I don't know if this is TMI, but he took a lot of baths and was always just in there singing.
Cassette Walkman
Walkman back in the day, and he always had music. Right, if we were going somewhere, it was Pink Floyd or something else. And
that's what I was going to say. What kind of music was it?
All kinds. When I was kind of growing up, then I got into like the rap, and then the 90s and the rock, and I really liked it all. I liked Fleetwood Mac a whole bunch. Didn't play any instruments. I played the recorder, whatever that plastic flutophone that everybody gets. Never was in band. We didn't have all that. I was a wrestler and a diver, springboard diver. That's what I did in high school. And
that was in San Diego?
That was in outside of Fresno.
Okay.
So I was born in San Diego. We went military family. We went all over. And then did my high school years outside of Fresno, a little naval air station called Lemoore Naval Air Station, and then ended up stationed back in San Diego. When I joined the military, until I moved out here. But
did you come out here because of the military connection with Millington, or how did you end up here?
In a roundabout way. So my parents retired and moved out here. My mom was from out here. My dad met my mom when he was actually in school at Millington for military training back in the day.
Yeah.
So when they retired, they moved out here. When I had Hannah, we wanted her near grandparents. And
sure.
Her other grandparents lived in Michigan in the woods. Like legit in the woods.
Yeah.
And there's just not a ton of jobs out there in rural Michigan. So we kind of put our things out there, and I was moved here within 30 days, and I had a warehouse right down the street from the Pony on Winchester, and I was like, okay, here I am. I just came from San Diego, now I'm on Winchester by the Pony, getting the tires stolen off of my the 18-wheeler trailers and all this stuff. So, but back to the music thing, just Dad, some of those good memories, and even when I used to come visit him when I was in the military, now he'd moved on. He was into Eminem, Outkast. And my dad was unique because he would sit me in the car. He'd go, no, come here. And we'd sit in the car, and he'd go, no, listen to this lyric. And he'd be like, oh, he's talking about this and this and this. And be a full-on rap song. And I was like, oh, it's wild, right? And he just loved good music. So I guess he used to play the drums back in the day. Nothing I ever remember, but he taught me Wipeout on the furniture at the house. I guess that was my musical training. And then from there...
did he sing or anything?
He had a voice. He didn't sing. He probably could have. He could dance. He could dance a lot. And then he was just, we always had music around, I guess you would say. And then so joined the military. and we were on our first cruise, and there was a guitarist already, somebody else, no drummer. So we were in Australia, and I literally bought a drum set in Australia. And
This is why you're in the Navy?
This is in the Navy.
Okay.
And learned how to play, and that was kind of my first thing.
For the ship?
For the ship. Like, we used to practice in the sonar dome.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, the singing part was really just karaoke with a buddy, and we used to do it at this place where we were probably the youngest people by 40 years.
Do you read music?
I don't.
So
read music.
Because you play a lot of stuff, right? Don't you play? And so you just picked it up?
Picked it up.
Man,
now.
that's how Austin is. I don't know how y'all do that.
I had a friend show me the piano in 5 minutes one time, and he showed me this weird shortcut, and then I could figure enough out to be dangerous to give it to somebody better.
Hear the note. You can hear the notes, and then you kind of know how to play the notes. Can you play by ear like that?
Yeah, I could find it actually pretty easy. It won't be fancy, but I could figure out what the main chords are, or like. Generally, how I used to write songs was with either piano or guitar. I'd normally come up with something in the shower. When I did original music for a long time, and I'd come up with something, and then I'd get out and I'd record it, or I'd go directly to a piano and I'd find what note that was, and then I'd figure out those chords, and then I'd kind of do it like that, and then I'd give it to somebody in the band that could play it better, right? And I was like, hey, this is what I want to do, and then they would do that. But back in the day, we were doing karaoke, and there was no internet. You know, it was newspaper. Craig, I think it was classified ads.
Yeah.
And somebody's looking for a singer for a band called Blow Up Betty, and that was my very first band. And I went and auditioned, and I got hired like pretty much on the spot. And that was.
How'd you get with Shara?
So Shara, that's a funny story. So. Fast forward, original music did that forever in San Diego. We got a couple albums out there and all this stuff. And I knew once I got to a certain age, I came out here, I wanted to be in a cover band, but I wanted to do a certain kind. I wanted it to be a fun deal. I went to audition for a guy in Horn Lake, and we kind of started this thing. And he was a drummer. I won't name his name out there just in case he's listening. But basically what happened is Shara came along and kind of auditioned, and we were kind of doing it. This other guitarist was pretty good, and then the bassist, Greg, who is still currently the bassist and who started the band, he came into audition as a bassist, and he didn't click with the drummer, right? Drummers kind of want to do some B-sides and stuff, but on the way out, he was packing up and he got my number, and he literally said, hey, I think you're the real deal. Just keep my number just in case. He knew he wasn't coming back. He knew I'm not this guy.
He knew he was out.
He was a professional musician already from Atlanta. So he came in and we kind of started talking. We met up, and then we were looking at some people, and we kind of talking. I was like, hey, what about Shara? You know, from there, and so we brought her in pretty much straight from the get go.
Well, she's a good bit. She's younger, right? Like
she was younger. Yeah, she's always been a singer, and at that time she was, and she'll tell you this. She'll be the first one, like. Performance-wise, I was seasoned performing, but singing-wise, I was lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. I had no training, didn't know how to harmonize, nothing. So we kind of try to say that, I kind of helped her perform and create a character, so to speak, because what you see is not always what you get on stage, right? And then she helped me vocally, like really, how to sing, how to harmonize, and kind of. And it was just one of those things that's when you get with a group, especially this group, none of us were really from here. She was from Ohio and some other places around. Greg was from Atlanta. I was from San Diego. Memphis is a very small music community where everybody knows everybody from back in the day, and there's it's a pretty tight knit group. And at that time, and we're welcomed in now and we know everybody now, but at that time we were kind of like the outsiders, right? Number one, we were coming in playing just a completely different style of music, although there was Kevin and Bethany Page before us, and they were kind of the duo, and I think they had maybe taken a step back or done something. We're kind of on hiatus or whatever, but when we came in, we didn't know a whole bunch of people, so we had to go around. First gig was at Rizzy's for $50, I think, and we went to Hadley's, told them they didn't have to pay us back in those days, unless they wanted to. Yeah. Now we know a little different. We tell people to know their worth up front, and we're trying to actually change that. There's a group of musicians that actually are trying to change that that culture now, so people can get paid what they're worth instead of still getting paid what they were paying people in the 80s.
Yeah.
So
Well,
go ahead.
so no, I'm just going to say a follow up on something you said, that because I was going to ask you about that, if you had ever done original music, and you said San Diego you did and had some albums and stuff out, and I realize now, like, Thump Daddy took off, and that's obviously occupying a lot of your time. Is there still an itch though for like doing original stuff?
Yeah, so I still write and record, and I did go back and do a reunion show with him, and actually me and Brian we're going out there in January, and we plan on doing a writing session. And
I know what else you're doing.
Yeah.
Look, I won't talk about what it is. Brian probably doesn't care. But we were one night we were at Rocky practice.
I'm on the fence, but yeah.
And I'm not doing it. I won't do it. But anyway, Brian, you know how he is. And he's such a diva, man. And we'd been waiting on him to practice. And he was like, I have to take this appointment. This is call. And I knew there was no law appointment he had on the books. I was like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
So I walk outside, and him and Laura are FaceTiming this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear what it's about. And so I know that I get the gist. And he is so excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Rome the 22nd through the 29th with Madeline.
Yeah.
This is our anniversary and birthdays right there.
Yeah.
Never been to Europe. I'm super
list,
excited.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to go. We're going. It's already booked. Well, Brian was like, and I was talking to Brian about it. I was like, hey, we'll make sure this is good. You can cover for me. And he was like, as long as the week before you're here, because I'm going. And he told me what it was. And I was like, well, man, I hope he doesn't end up on a spaceship or something to where he can cover the next week,
We're ready to come back as life change.
Hey.
The universe is speaking.
Man, on all that kind
and
of
I'm not
stuff.
even, it's weird because I'm pretty not that way. You know what I mean? I've just had a lot of weird signs and weird things that I can't explain in messaging. And, it could be my dad passed a year ago. And so you get like this, I'm literally talking to blinking light bulbs. I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I'm over here talking to blinking light bulbs thinking I'm communicating with somebody. And maybe I am, but it doesn't matter if I am or I'm not. It's kind of what I feel, but.
Yeah, I mean, Josh and I lost our dad. Was it been 3 years now, Josh?
It was 2023, so over two.
Two, little over 2.5. Yeah. And that was a big deal for us. And obviously, you had a good relationship with your dad too. And that's hard, man. And I don't know that you ever really get completely over that kind of, because I think about my dad every day. Yeah. But I don't know what is written out there. I don't know if he's still. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm open that I don't know. I'm open that there's things that I don't understand. Mm-hmm. My mother. So Friday, so the kids went in, McKenna went to get induced, my daughter-in-law, Thursday night, right, for my grandbaby. Yep. And so I couldn't sleep. So I was basically up from 11 p.m. off and on that night. I finally got up at like 5, woke Madeline up. I was like, look, we just need to go to the hospital because I don't want to miss it. It's my first grandkid. Long story short, my mother wants to ride with us. So my mother drives. She's still alive and kicking and fighting and the whole deal, Bride Road Brawler. So she comes to the house to ride with us. And we stopped at my bookstore to drop off something before we left, right? She goes in to use the restroom and comes out, gets in the car, and she goes, has anybody ever heard a woman yelling in the bathroom at the bookstore? Yeah. And I was like, no, Mama, nobody's. She said, there was a woman in there yelling. I could hear her talking. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not telling the girls that they don't watch this anyway, but the girls that work for me, because then they're not going to want to be up there alone, Right. But and then we've had stuff here. We've had Josh and I were doing a podcast in the other studio that we had, literally on the air. I don't remember which episode it was or what guest I had, but I was sitting there, and the door in that studio is right here, and the door opens against the hinge. And then it doesn't open all the way. It opens like, 40% of the way and then closes. And I thought it was Brian peeking in to see who was here, right? So I look and I'm talking, and then I look at Josh, and Josh is white as a sheet. And he goes, there was nobody there. And I go, what? And he goes, he was where he could see.
Oh,
and
where
he's
he could see it open.
The door just opens against the hinge.
There was no person on the other side of the door.
And then that's the same week or two where we'd had, Madeline and I had been up here painting this office, and I smelled a man's cologne, and she did too. And she goes, are you wearing cologne? I was like, no. And we walked through it. And then the same week we were in this office, and I was working and she was working, and we heard footsteps. Like a man wearing boots. I thought it was Brian. And when the footsteps got to the door right there, the door slammed across from us. Yeah. And
oh my gosh.
I get up and there's nobody here. The doors are locked. There's literally nobody in the building.
Yeah.
And so we were like, it's time to go. My point is, like, I can't explain any of that. It's
Right.
something I legitimately experienced,
Right.
you know, so I don't know if there's something to it or not, but
That's how I feel. I just roll with it. I feel that, things are, if there's some type of vibration, there's, I believe in, obviously, God and higher power, and I have my own certain beliefs, about all that stuff that I think is all culminating. But, yeah, I'm open, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, I'm open to learning something new,
Yeah.
I'm not just willy-nilly out there, but I was like, okay, yeah, I'm mature enough, to be open to that kind of stuff, at the very least.
Well, I was telling Josh before you got here that over the last 9 months, I've really done soul searching to try to become the best grandfather that I could be, right? Because, like, when you go to become a father, with me at least, I was a kid. And so I don't remember having the self-reflection of being like, I need to improve in this to be an example to my kids. It was more I was just kind of thrust into it and figured it out. But now I have the life perspective that when I found out that they were going to have a child 9 months ago, I literally created a plan of like, what factors in my life do I need to improve on so that when this child is here, grandpa is the best example I can be for the kid. And so one of the things that I've done is I've reflected on this is I've tried, I was telling Josh, I try one thing and I've started doing it. It's actually helped me a lot in life. I struggle with being present. Like when I'm with a friend or family, my brain's always running and I'm thinking about doing something else. And the next thing, instead of being present with them and enjoying that time, right? So I'm trying to be more present. But one thing I'm doing that's helped with that is every morning when I do my cold plunge, I get dressed, all that, I go get in the car, and then I'm in a hurry and I'm thinking about these cases I got. But I sit there for a second. As soon as I get in the car, that's when I do it. And I just say what I'm thankful for. That literally I express gratitude. I have a physical expression of gratitude every day. Man, I'm thankful for this day. I'm thankful for the breath in my lungs. I'm thankful for this food in my belly. I'm thankful that my family's healthy. I'm thankful for these cases I'm blessed to get to go do. These people are trusting me with their cases. All these things that you typically would not express or ignore or not be thankful for, I'm thankful. Today I was thankful that I'm going to get to see you, literally. Like to be present and thankful for those things. And what's funny, I was telling him there's a Harvard study just came out, and they studied all these folks, and they were trying to figure out if there was a way to actually influence happiness. And the one factor across the board that showed decreased depression, increased sleep scores, all these things, was an actual take time to express gratitude every day. So one thing I hope I can send to people is really do that, because every day is an opportunity to be happy. It really is.
Yep.
We all have things to be thankful for, and I think we ignore those a lot. So
I agree. They say make it a good day. People say have a good day. You can make it a good day, or you can be, your situation isn't always as bad as the next person.
Correct.
You could be having the worst day driving by in a car while somebody's at the bus stop, or dealing with all that kind of stuff. And yeah, same thing with the happiness. There's a special I saw a long time ago. I don't know what platform it was on. It was called Happy, and it was a study on happiness. In one of the poorest villages, I can't remember where it was. Didn't have much dirt floors, all that, right? But we're some of the happiest, and like you said, gratitude, but also community, and community was such a big factor in that, being around, just that it was a village, right? So they found that was kind of a, it's not things, it's not the stuff, it's not all the things that we think that is, so I try to do the same thing. On that front, and I think if you start doing it, then it becomes a habit, right? And then like so many things, I'll start something for like a day or two. I'm gonna work out. Oh man, Jerry can do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I go there. It's like if I stop after a day or two, then
I think
I'm so bad about that.
There's a balance on that, though. I was just telling Josh this because he and I are similar in a lot of ways, and I'm just older than him, honestly. But I get consumed by goals and tasks. And in one way, it's good in that I do think it helps me accomplish goals that other people would abandon. But in another way, it's bad in that I never stop to smell the roses. I never get to be happy. So I was telling him that in this self-reflection I've done, I was like, okay, well, what actually makes me happy? Because I have this new 100 years philosophy I'm doing, and it works two ways. One way is that when I make a decision, like, am I going to eat this donut? is this donut going to help me maximize the 100 years I may have? And if the answer is no, because the best I'm going to get is maybe 100 years, I don't eat the donut. That's literally it. Like, if the donut is not helping me be better and survive this 100 years and have a higher quality of life, I don't eat it. On the other hand, if I'm worried about it or I'm stressed about it, I ask, is it going to matter in 100 years? This person's talking crap about me. This guy didn't hire me, whatever. And if the answer is no, I don't devote energy to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a life philosophy in that it sort of makes it easy for me to make decisions. Well, one thing I've observed in myself, and again, I can't speak for anybody else, is that, yes, I can accomplish goals and I'm singularly focused. It makes me good in fights and in the court and all this kind of stuff, but it makes me kind of shitty as a friend and kind of shitty as a family member. And what ultimately is going to matter in 60, 100 years? The family. So I'm trying to, like, you and Molly both are similar spirits. You are both what I call energy batteries. You emit positive energy. I've never been around you, Steve, where you were in a bad mood or being mean or a shitty person. You've always been, and Molly's the same way. Yeah. When I see Molly every time, it's literally sunshine, right? And so I want to be more like that for people. And part of that, I think, is I've got to slow down, be more present, enjoy time with people, and be, just be grateful that I have the chance to share life with good people, And then you have some people, Josh will know who I'm talking about, a prior person we had here that was an energy vampire. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? The succubus. Sucking your soul, sucking your innards.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about those last week. I was like, there are those people that require 90% of your energy or whatever. Like,
well, but help me with this for you, because I've sort of asked Molly before whether you recognize it or not. I know. Most everybody, people like you. You're very likable. You're very charismatic. You do put off energy, positive energy. Is there some perspective on life you think you have, or a way you view things that helps you be positive most of the time?
I think that. And that, so I've questioned that, right? I'm like, am I positive out front? Because I'm not always positive.
Sure.
People are like, don't be so dramatic, because that's the way I roll, even in business and those things. I can't ever just be the guy that sits back and I'm just going to pencil whip you. And this, I care, right? So, but I think on that front, I'm good at dissipating. We talked about being an empath. I think that I can take in bad stuff and I don't know how to explain it other than I eat it, my body eats it real quick and it's gone, right? Like I'll go through a fit and I might be rah, 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 rah. Even though you haven't seen that side of me, I might get on, but I get over stuff quick, where some people hang on to things and other things affect them more.
Josh.
I was literally thinking of myself as you were saying that. I was I know how to hold a grudge.
Yeah, so and even other things. I talked to Brian about it before. He's a certain kind of person, where certain things in cases, whatever in life affect him more. He feels sometimes what other people feel. I do too, but I'm good at absorbing it and then getting rid of it, and then it just doesn't.
It doesn't fester.
It doesn't fester with me. I let it go.
That's interesting, because physically you look younger than you are. I've always thought that. Yeah. But you also are all very positive, and I think there's some truth to that. I think that if you don't hold on to that, it doesn't fester in your body and have a physical representation of that stress. I think
I'm
there's
a
some
big
truth
mouth.
to that.
I am. You can ask any of the band members. I don't go behind the scenes and I've just never been that person at work. I pretty much say how I feel on my mind. I get it out there, and we deal with it, and then when I say I let it go, I let it go. I'm done with it, right? Yeah. I don't. So maybe there's some truth to that. I just don't. Whether it's a bad feeling or whether it's you're having a rough time.
Do you hold a grudge big? If somebody wrongs you?
I don't. And somebody could really wrong me. And the same thing I tell Hannah, I tell my daughter. I told her this, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago. And I said, because I try to have these kind of talks, and I just said, if your heart gets broken, you keep loving. If somebody does you wrong, you keep trying. I said, I'm never going to be jaded and close up. I've made a conscious decision of that, and I don't want you to ever do that too. So, just as you think of things, kind of those are some things. I started making a private YouTube channel for her. Like at one point I was just like, these are little, then I found out there's already somebody that does it. And it's basically like, here's how you jumpstart a car. Here's how you know if the gas is on a certain side. Or
That's
like,
sweet though that you thought about that.
yeah. Or just like, hey, this week you made this part in a play, or, started doing that. I tried to do that, and then, I get busy and fell off. And, yeah, so back to that question, because I can squirrel. I'm ADHD to the max. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I don't let things just stay with me. I like to give. I like to be a good person as much as I can. And I don't think I'm a good friend. I'm not the one that reaches out all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I'm really bad. The thing I'm trying to work on, I don't remember anybody's name.
Yeah, I'm bad with names
ever. Too. And I do a ton of shows, and I was like, maybe I meet so many people.
Yeah.
But like, I started feeling like, I literally do self-reflection and go, are you like so into yourself, or like so like self-absorbed that somebody else's name isn't important? And I had to like kind of forgive myself for that and go like, no, that's not the case. Your brain's not wired like that, or I don't know, little things like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not good at names either. I'll have people that come up to me and meet me. And of course, part of it is because I had somebody tell me that I'm local famous.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's true. Yeah. I mean, when I go wherever in Covington, especially, people at least know who I am. Now, I'm very polarizing. They either really like me or they really don't like me. And that's cool, too. I'm fine with that.
And the ones that don't just don't know you.
Well, maybe. I mean, even people that there may be some that got to know me that don't like me. Because I got big mouth. I'm very opinionated. But what people maybe don't realize on me is I at least think I am open to hearing your position. Mm-hmm. Like if you and I disagree on like a political issue, I'll argue with you, but it's because I believe in the true Greek version of argument, which is this pursuit of truth. And the only way for me to make my argument better is you to point out the weaknesses in it, and vice versa. And then the Greeks looked at argument where if I walk away losing the argument, I didn't gain anything. The real winner is the person who changed their opinion because they have more knowledge now, right? Mm-hmm. But the only way to get to that is to argue, to disagree, civilly. Yeah. So I think a lot of people take offense to that. And then Josh and I also were raised, me, him, and my other brother Justin, we make fun of each other and everything all the time. Mm-hmm. Like we're constantly picking at each other and other people. And if we're not making fun of you, we probably don't like you, honestly, in some degree. And there's people that, get offended by that too. So anyway, my point was I also struggle to remember people, but I'll see people in public who know me from this Kickin' lawyer stuff. And I won't know if I arrested them, taught them taekwondo, represented them. I won't remember what capacity that I met them. And so I just try to play it off. I've got some tactful techniques to avoid them knowing I don't know who they are. Yeah. So I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Hey, man. I literally DJ'd somebody's wedding back when I used to DJ weddings and on the side also.
Yeah.
And DJ this couple's wedding the weekend before. And they were at the next wedding. Mm-hmm. And I ran to the guy at the bathroom, and he's like, "Hey, oh yeah," and was just talking and I was like, "Oh yeah, man," and I was like, "Who the hell?" And it was a guy. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like that. Yeah. I was like, "That's pretty bad." Yeah. I can't even blame that on being old. I was a lot younger then.
Yeah. Well, if you were to, so one thing I'm talking about this because before we talked, Josh and I were talking for like 20 minutes. And some of what you're talking about is directly targeted at Josh over there. Because Josh was saying, well, I won't speak for you.
Conan the Barbarian speaks for me. I live by Conan's mantra of crush my enemies, see them driven before me. It's like my life philosophy. Like, I'm the exact opposite of what you're saying. Like, if somebody wrongs me, I will dispose of all of my resources, time, money, energy, effort to see that person is completely destroyed spiritually, mentally, in all aspects of life. Like that's just the way I feel.
Well, and I used to be like that. I did. We were kind of raised to be like that. Our dad wasn't like that. Our mother is like that. Yeah. Like I got spanked one time because I didn't fight a boy in school. Oh, yeah. And then she brought me back to school and told me if I didn't fight that boy, I was getting another spanking. Mm-hmm. Whereas our daddy was a pacifist. Yeah. My dad was like, you should turn the other cheek. That's what Jesus said. So we had night and day instruction, Yeah. But as I've grown, I like to think, as I've grown as a person, I've been wronged by people, but I don't want those people to hold control over me. And if you hold grudges, and are constantly thinking about other people, they're still a mind worm in your brain. They're still controlling you. And so I went through a phase where I was pretty good at like just blocking it off. Like it's almost like they didn't exist to me anymore. But now I'm at a point to where I really want to forgive those people, and move forward, because I think that, kind of like you're saying, I think that that's a more productive way to be in life than to hold grudges and wish ill on anybody.
They can't hold control over you when you're drinking wine from their skulls.
That's a perspective.
But I don't know. What I was gonna say was based on,
I call it the let them. The let them.
There's a book on
them.
that. Yeah, let them. The let them theory.
Yeah, I let them. And I'll forgive somebody, and if they do, which is, and then somebody show, there's the old saying, if somebody shows their true colors, believe them. Yeah. I recently gave somebody, I was like, okay, time's gone on. I cut them out, didn't talk to them. If they were in the room, would ignore them. And I was like, okay. So then recently, I was like, whatever. I'll at least just say a hi. That's an olive branch, right? Hey, cool, whatever. And then found out, just from that, it opened a Pandora's box of, rumors of flying. And it's weird, like you said, local famous. I've heard every rumor under the sun about me, and just from being in local bands, it's laughable. So you got to kind of have that mentality, like to let them. Otherwise, I just go around trying to drink everybody's blood from their skull. I couldn't pay any bills.
Well, so to lighten that up a little bit, let me ask you this, because you've done a lot of gigs and stuff. What's like one of the weirdest interactions you've had? Like before or after with an audience member, if you had like some weird stuff come up, have you been propositioned?
So I had it wasn't necessarily towards me, but I was DJing a wedding, and literally caught the what is it, the maid of honor making out with the groom, like
at the wedding,
right at the reception, like. And that was a little uncomfortable. I had somebody's wife coming on to me, and somebody fly over the DJ table. A lot of them were like DJ-ish kind of stuff. I had a lady. So the weirdest thing was there was a woman in one of these bands that I'd never met, or I met in passing, that thought we were in a full-on relationship and thought I was communicating to her when I was singing. And by like my dance moves, like I was doing like some weird communication, and had a whole thing going on for like months, and they had to make sure she didn't come around too much anymore. But that's about the weirdest thing. You get some weird things out there. Man, I'm trying to think. Generally, it's people that want to come up and sing and are just
not good.
I mean, they're just not good, or too drunk, or something, or something like that. Which nowadays, I mean, I hate to say it, I'm a little weird about who I give my microphone to, just because people spit in it and do all that stuff, and I'm like, I just don't want to get sick after that. So, yeah, man, I wish I could give you like just a crazy story.
That's pretty crazy too.
I'm sure Shara gets all the stalkers, not really. Her inbox or whatever, and she tries to be friendly, and she's really. I don't want to say naive to that, but yeah, she's really looks at the good in everybody. I like to say I'm more street smart. I have that piece too.
Y'all got a good following, man. I mean, every time I've been to any of your shows, often there are people that show up, literally because of you. Like there's a huge group of groupies that will show up because your group is there, which is great. But I could also see how that can grow into negatives too, depending on
the people that come around all the time that like to support us. Those are kind of who we live by, because if you especially when we're doing a lot of private, we only got these private gigs from doing a lot of public gigs for a while, and it took those supporters to kind of come out and they'll tell you if you sound like crap or not. Too, like, oh man, you had a rough night last night or something. You're like, yeah, thanks. But we needed them, and now we do a lot of. I mean, we do a lot of high end gigs. Nowadays
I liked the New Year's deal. I can't remember if you did it at Chloe's thing, but the New Year's deal, y'all did a whole Prince
The medley. Yeah,
medley. That was
we have
awesome.
a couple of them.
I'm a huge Prince fan, man. I think he's, especially nowadays, I think he's underrated. I think a lot of these young folks don't realize how amazing Prince is.
So insane.
Yeah.
And that's a concert that I wish I would have got to see.
Me too,
I
man.
never got the talent level, even just his guitar. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the top guitarists I've ever heard, too. And his
and he played like 40-something
songwriting.
Instruments.
Yeah.
He played all kinds of stuff.
Well, and he wrote he wrote so many songs you don't even know,
Yeah.
you know, that are written by him. It's just, he's one of a kind, you know. I didn't know him and Michael Jackson were like,
they were beefing.
It was real beef.
So it's funny you say that. So people need to look this up on YouTube if you haven't seen it. But there's a video. You and I may have talked about this. I can't remember. But you got James Brown. James Brown is performing somewhere, and he's doing his performance, and he gets told that Michael Jackson's in the audience. And he's like, Michael Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Michael Jackson. And so Michael Jackson comes up there, and I thought when I first watched the video that this was because he was going to be supportive of Prince, but it was because he knew that Prince wouldn't perform well in that environment. So he leans over and whispers to James Brown, hey, there's a guy named Prince here, because Prince was new. He was like, won't you bring him up? And he's like, Michael Jackson say Prince is here. Prince is here. Let's bring him. And so then on the video, Prince comes riding up on a dude. So Prince is like on the back of a guy with no shirt on. Yeah. He gets up there and he gets a guitar because Michael Jackson had done a little dance, right? He did a little Michael Jackson dance. And so Prince gets the guitar, and instead of just playing, because again, the vibe is different than like a Prince concert, he starts doing this like sexual, like grinding, holding the guitar, not playing, but dancing. But you just have to watch it. And apparently, that was a Michael Jackson slap at Prince, is what it was. And then Prince ends up grabbing there was a stage light, and he tries to swing on it and falls over, and they have to catch it. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. You have to look up Prince, James Brown, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And anyway, I read the backstory on it, and it was supposedly Michael Jackson trying to slap at Prince.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I was watching the Best Night in Pop Music. I don't know if you've seen that one on Netflix. Like Lionel Richie telling about "We Are the World."
I don't know. You can go ahead and tell the story, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was talking about the, trying to get Prince, whatever. But Prince actually beat out Michael Jackson, I believe, that night for the awards and going up there. But he was kind of talking about their beef too. Like he goes, no, that was a real beef between the two.
What's crazy is the Charlie Murphy stories are true.
Oh, yeah.
The Charlie Murphy story where he goes and plays basketball and is good in the blouses and then makes some pancakes. It's all true. That actually happened.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
They glammed it up. It's just so funny, like when they're playing them in their street clothes.
Yeah. No. And they said they were good, so they were beating them. He said they were laughing at them because they come out in their blouses.
Yeah. He's like, good.
Yeah, if you youngins hadn't seen it, y'all got to watch that. It's Dave Chappelle, Charlie Murphy skit of Prince.
One of the greatest skits of all time.
That one is hilarious. I watch that all the time. I watch the Black Bush one all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched the what's the one where he's
the Rick James one?
The Rick James one, and then the one where he's the Black Klans member.
Oh,
Bigsby, something.
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby, yeah.
Clayton Bigsby, yeah.
He said he divorced his
He's
wife.
blind.
Yeah,
he's blind. Yeah.
It's so funny.
That one is wild.
It's so funny at the end because he said he divorced his wife because she loved he loved the black guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Old Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah, man, Dave Chappelle was ahead of his time.
He is, and he's still even in some of his new specials. This guy's just like he's just.
So I went and saw him in Nashville. It was Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and actually I did. It was right after he had offended all the trans people,
right?
And so he went on this like just trans rant. Dave Chappelle did, and Rogan was okay, but honestly, some of their undercard comedians I thought were better. They were funnier than they were because they kind of just riffed, which is fine, works. But it was literally is that Nashville arena where the Predators play. It was a huge place. Yeah. And I honestly didn't enjoy Dave Chappelle. Joe Rogan was okay, but he wasn't as good as the lineup, the starting lineup.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I enjoyed them more.
Was he still yelling and stuff? Like, Rogan used to do like a lot of yelling, like kind of almost like Sam Kinison. Like he was very loud.
Not really. I mean, he would.
But I love his podcast.
He would build up to that. Well, and even on that, it's funny you say the podcast. So I'm not sure if he's still number one or not. But I don't particularly care for the comedian ones when he has like comedians on.
I never listen to him.
Yeah, nobody. I do the same thing.
I'm looking for aliens, and I'm
yeah.
looking for like,
I want the
the
astrophysicist,
FBI guy,
the
or like
scientist
talking about like they found human skulls that were like
a
million years old.
Literally
That's
do
how
the same thing.
I like those.
I do exactly. I listen to the Elon Musk one.
I do too. I just listen to that too.
On. Yeah, but no, when he has the comedians, man, I don't really listen to it.
That's wild. And the trans thing, he kind of went back and kind of made peace. It was funny. He was like, no, like I've supported that the whole time. Some of my greatest friends, he goes like, it just got taken out of context. So I was like, okay.
You talking about Dave Chappelle?
We're good, yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So him and Rogan both
so
were
smart.
Democrats. You know, they were both big Democrats. And anyway, we won't get to politics. But the party is, I think politically, the parties have shifted. If you look at 1990s Democrats, or even earlier than that, like Dixiecrats, the Southern Democrat is now what most of the conservative party is. It's a shifting. And then you look at real extreme Democrats, I think are like just this extreme left wing that most people probably aren't.
Right.
Most of us are centrist, I think.
That's exactly what I was just saying. I was like, most of us are in the middle here.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, I think everybody doesn't really trust what's going on.
No, I don't.
We're like, whatever. The weird thing with the news hit a tipping point, I think, a couple of years ago. It was like the news, and everybody's getting riled up about the news and all this. And now it seemed overnight. Everybody's like, oh, all the news are liars. Like, I don't
even watch
even
the
NPR
news.
Or something's leaning. Everybody's just like
they're all leaning in some direction. I get, honestly, better or worse, I get most of my news from social media or from podcasts. It's probably where I get the majority of it.
Yep.
I was listening to the oral arguments today when I was doing my cardio from the Supreme Court, where they're arguing over the tariffs, whether it's legal or not. That was interesting. But I mean, and that was on TikTok. I was listening to it live on TikTok. Yeah. So it's funny how it's evolved over the last 20 years or so. Yeah. Because when you and I were kids, there was no social media.
Right.
So the newspaper was the best that you got any exposure, the local newspaper.
Yep. 100%.
I remember when we would do taekwondo tournaments, we would have a group picture. We'd schedule a newspaper guy to come and take a picture of all of us to put in the paper from where we went to the tournament. That was how you got exposure on what you did.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Matter of fact, we still have those clippings. Still have old photo albums. I mean, it's just, I try to think of, how you look back to then and how people are going to look back to now. It's strange. I came up with a business idea, whether somebody else already did or not. If not, it's being recorded now. So AI, right? We're talking about AI and just the future. And you talking about, hey, I want to be the best grandpa in this 100-year deal. And I was like, okay, the technology is going to be there. It's only going to get better and better, like infinitely better. It's going up, right? What if there's a platform, a YouTube, iTube, whatever you want to call it, a subscription-based type thing, or something you wear, and it's basically it's following your own, hearing all your answers, hearing how you talk, hearing what you do in situations, knowing all this kind of stuff, knows your voice, knows everything. Or it could be a platform where it asks you just a bunch of questions and you kind of give it your scenario. The more time you put in, the better it gets, this model, right? So when you're dead and gone, your great-great-grandkids can interact with
with you,
Grandpa Jerry, right? Yeah. And maybe they need, maybe they want like, hey, what's up? And it'll know how you think based on how many years of whatever energy you put into it. Like, hey, I'm going like this. Oh, that's a nice PJ set you got on there. Like, you can live,
basically
forever.
Your consciousness continues.
Yeah, you continue on in your interaction, and instead of old photographs, now all of a sudden you're interacting. Hey, here, let's pull up, this is your great-great-great-grandpa Joe, right? Yeah. Hey, good to see you. It's just like we are talking now. And the cameras are so good; they're going to see everything you're wearing and all this stuff. It'll be.
They're almost there now, where they create the AI stuff.
They can do that already, but I'm just like, from a business aspect, I guarantee there's going to be a business like that. Patent pending.
No, I think you're right. I mean,
in the future, who wouldn't want that?
There are already companies for, 20, 30 years plus that have. I know there's one company in particular. I want to say it's in like Germany or something. That was, you pay them a bunch of money and they would cryogenically freeze you. They're freezing it so that if you had like a terminal illness, they're waiting till the future. Hopefully it's where it's curable.
Right.
Then they're going to hope the technology is there to revive you.
Right.
Or to cut your head off, save your head. Maybe they can bring you back in the future,
Now they got Neuralink. Supposedly they're going to be able to upload your consciousness. All that stuff. I'm just like, I'm just gonna roll on.
I'm just working under the premise I got 100 years, and I'm gonna do the best I can. You know, with my 100 years, I want to have the best quality of life I can for the 100 years. And then, like I said, if in 100 years it ain't gonna matter, I'm trying to not focus energy on it. So I'm trying to be more like you, Steve, and just be present and happy.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do the same thing. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I was gonna live to be 103. I've always said 103.
Nice.
Like it was just something.
I believe you.
But the older I get, I'm like, I don't know. But then I'm like, no, I gotta. Your mind can control a lot of things. So I'm
agree.
No, let's get back to the 103. When you were talking about the 100-year deal, I'm like, I'm the opposite of you, and I'm trying to get better. Instead of you wouldn't have that donut, I'd go. I'll be 99 years and 364 days. I'll go ahead and I'll start like chunking away at my life. Taco Bell or donuts.
Well, I mean, to be clear, I wasn't always like that.
Right.
But I have always been health conscious. And as I get older, especially in my 40s, I've started to try to get more longevity conscious. So I try to make choices that are going to help me when I'm in my 80s. And then another thing I hadn't necessarily brought up on this. I know Josh is ready for us to get going. I'll go in a second, Josh, I promise. But another thing I'm starting to do is focus on, I think we have a duty to our children to not be a burden on them. So what I mean is, instead of eating all the food and getting fat and out of shape to where I can't move and they got to wipe my butt and stuff, I think I have a duty as I age to age gracefully and not be a burden on my children, right? Yeah. People don't talk about that. So I want to be able to pick my grandkid, my great-grandkid up. You know, I want to be able to cut my own grass, wipe my own butt, as I get older. So I'm trying to do things that, at 70, maybe I can't deadlift 600 pounds, but I want to be able to deadlift 400 pounds. I still want to be physically able to do things.
Our saxophone and keyboardist, we have Joey and them too, but Tom, who's in Rock the Boat, both of them, he's in his 70s. You wouldn't know it really by looking at him. He loads in, he loads out, he does all the things physically. And he told me one day, he goes, what am I going to do? Just sit at home? He goes, I like to stay active on a certain level. He's real measured and good. So he has kind of the health, but also like the mental side too.
Yeah.
And so, he's a big hope for me. Like when you look to the future, like, oh yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good at 70 something, you know? Man, we'll have to do this again. You were talking about your dad and how your dad was like this and your mom was like this. There's a quick story I'll tell you. My dad was like your mom, right? And he was like that. I could tell you, I had to go, I'd get in trouble for something stupid at school, and I had a no fear. Remember, no fear was like the thing back in the day. And he'd tell me, he'd go up to that kid right there. You got no fear, right? I want you to go up to that kid right now and tell him he's a piece of crap, whatever it is, right? And then I'd walk up and I'd chicken out. He'd take my hat off, no fear. He'd put it in the garbage can. He's like, no fear, my hat, that kind of stuff. And then one more funny story that I'll leave with on him. And we were talking about, so we waited in line back in the day. There was no fast passes, which nowadays I can't go without a fast pass. I'm like, that's why I work for. So wait in line for the bumper cars 2 hours. Get there. This most annoying kid was in line with us the entire time. Just telling his parents off in our space, everything. So this is when people say, how was your dad like? I said, let me just give you an example. My dad went to me and my sisters, and he goes, we're going to sacrifice our good time to ruin his. So the deal was we pinned him in the corner, this kid, in the bumper cars, and then acted like we couldn't back out for the whole ride. So he was pissed and
2 hours to ruin the kid's thing.
And we walked off. The kid walked off pissed, and we walked off grinning. We didn't get to drive around or nothing, but literally we just pinned him in. And
I can see my mom did.
And I'm like, there's kind of my dad in that show. He'd give the shirt off your back for you too, but like he was like, okay, well, yeah, this is kind of. One of those deals, so
that's funny.
Yeah, man.
That's very much like our mother.
That's funny.
Again, my dad would have been the pacifist.
Right.
He'd have been like, just turn the other cheek. Let him.
It's okay. Let him have his fun. Yeah. My mom's kind of like that. Yeah. In those ways. So.
Well, again, Steve, I appreciate. I talked to you for hours. Josh always hates when I bring any whiskey in here because he knows the podcast is going to be longer.
Go like 4 hours.
Sorry, man.
I had one.
We really didn't even talk about it.
No. We had one time that was like 3.5 hours or something because I had bourbon.
Yeah.
But real quick, tell everybody again. It's November 22nd
at the Rough End. Come see Peter Blunt System. It's a lot of fun, and we'll be hooping and hollering. Thump Daddy, we're playing a private a Courage for Cancer event this week. Great cause, and then we got a little time off, so you can find us at Thump Daddy Memphis, and you can find Rock the Boat at Rock the Boat Band. And Peter Blunt, I think there's only one Peter Blunt system because the name is. And then look up the name. Matter of fact, just
Just
YouTube.
look up why it means that. It's not what you think.
It's not what you think. It's not what I thought. So man, appreciate you. It's always good hanging with you.
Yeah.
We're
glad to have you too, Steve.
Same, man.
And you see there, Michelle Allen. She's a longtime sponsor of the show. We want to make sure you guys support Michelle.
Yes, big time.
And then if you want to learn to kick people in the face, visit masonsmartialarts.com. If you want to be blocking them in the corner and not worry about their retaliation. We have two schools, Covington and Millington. And then if you want to buy some books, we got the Let Them Theory is there. I just got it in, matter of fact. It's a book by, I think, Mel Robbins is the author. Anyway, it's at Jam Books and Records on the Square. And then if you want to optimize your health, visit the Holistic Healthcare and Hormones, holistichealthhormones.com. You can schedule appointments on Saturdays to come visit them.
I have a plan to do that.
Yeah, hey, they do a great job. They've done a great job with me.
Awesome things,
And if you want to help with marketing, social media, movies, etc., just visit masonitemarketing.com. And I do appreciate you guys. I was talking about gratitude earlier. Everybody that watches this thing, especially to this point, I'm personally very thankful for. So thanks for your time. I hope you have a good week. Keep kicking. Thanks for watching, guys. Just remember that this is not legal advice or investment advice or business advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only.